What's up, everybody, and welcome to Assemble XP. I'm one of your hosts, Matt, and joining me, as always, is Captain Canuck. Court, how are you? What's going on? What do you say? What do you be?
I'm fine.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
moving right.
I want to talk about video games. I just stress at home. It is what it is.
All righty. Well, let's continue adding to your stress pile because we're going to talk about Forza Horizon 5 is being snubbed by the Game Awards. Recent news just came out. I thought it was pretty important since you and I are both fans of Forza. I enjoy the Game Awards myself, but it's
a weird one.
It appears that the game is not going to be there. This article is coming from Windows.
Well, it is just not going to be nominated for Game of the Year. It's already nominated in two other categories, accessibility and such. So we'll get into that.
So let's talk about Forza. Windows Central has the article in the write-up. It says the Game Awards has increasingly positioned itself as the de facto awards show for the gaming industry, turning itself into something of a mini winter E3 in the process. It's certainly starting to look that way as more and more celebrities get involved, although the show itself, for many, has become a game news show, with its host and creator Jeff Keighley attracting more and more marketing eyeballs to the proceeds. How exactly are the awards chosen, though? Well, the Game Awards uses a jury panel consisting of media influencers and outlets, including some of our colleagues at Games Radar and PC Gamer, no less, who vote on the nominees for the top accolades. They also cast votes for who actually wins the awards, with a mere 10% of the vote weight going to the public. You know, the people who actually play and buy the games en masse. Going down a little bit, it says that snubbing Forza 5 is a mistake. The Game Awards airs bias towards cinematic action games, snubbing sports games, mobile games, and, well, practically anything that doesn't fit into a very specific Hollywood-shaped hole. There are rare occasions where titles rise up that can break free of this close-minded thinking, such as Overwatch, but it's unusual to see a game nominated, let alone awarded, when there isn't a big-budget cinematic story interwoven in the gameplay. This mentality betrays the diversity that gaming represents. And I'll just continue on for a second there, Court. We'll keep going in the article. Forza 5 might not be a cinematic tearjerker of a game, but it's no less worthy of being nominated. This is a game that currently enjoys a position at the top of 2021's Metacritic Metascore, which averages out scores from hundreds of different review sites and YouTubers. This is a game that will probably see more players than all the current nominations combined over the course of their lifetime. You might be wondering if Forza 5 is ineligible for awards based on its launch date, but alas, no. Since Forza 5 has found itself into many other categories, like you're saying, Court, including top gongs for accessibility features and audio. And yes, shout out to Forza 5 for the accessibility features in this, because it's fantastic. Also, the audio design is wow. Soundtrack? Yes. Awesome, but that's my personal opinion. Forza is a franchise, the article says, that wins top prizes in racing year in, year out. Does this mean games of the subcategories are ineligible for the top prize? Will we ever see roguelikes such as Returnal hit the top spot? Will strategy games like Age of Empires ever be given a fair share? So what makes what makes an award-worthy game? Why should Forza 5 be discredited for not having a heavy story-driven campaign? The entire point of a video game is that they can be more than movies. They can be more interactive. They can shift modalities and transcend our ideas of what entertainment is. And this snub is symbolic of a game's journalists' general inability to think outside of the narrow perspective of a movie critic when it comes to game analysis. The article continues, Court, but let's stop there for a second, because it goes on to say how the jury has failed. Forza 5 is not only the most awarded game of 2021, but also played by more gamers than any other nominees. This should suggest to the Game Awards and the team over there that, hey, this is a big game. What say you?
What say me? I feel like it's the same conversation that people have with regards to the Oscars all the time, that this gets nominated and then they went too far and the only indie movies are getting nominated and you never get a Marvel movie in there when the Marvel movie kills it. And the last time I think at the Oscars, they actually gave the big movie of the year, the Academy Award, was Lord of the Rings, where it was like, okay, this movie just destroyed everything, just give them the Oscar. And maybe that's the way we should do it with games. So I see both sides of it. But other than that, I think even Death's Door not getting nominated is a little crazy pants to me. I know people are calling it Ratchet and Clank, saying that shouldn't have been. I love that game. I thought that was a fantastic game this year. But yes, Forza not being nominated is weird to me. And that not just because I'm an Xbox show, because that is the first racing game that brought me back in years. And I think it's brought everybody back. Like the amount of people that I've heard talking in the zeitgeist when Halo Infinite dropped the multiplayer beta, how many people were like, well, what's that going to do to Forza? And I was happy to see last night, I was looking through my Xbox and seeing people were still playing Forza. Like Forza is an amazing game and should have been nominated. Should it have won? I don't know. That you can let that go down. Maybe you change it, because I hate even the sports awards. I think they're crazy that writers get to vote on who's the MVP in the NHL. And are you kidding me? These guys, I read these articles, they're just brutal half the time. It should be fan voted and it should be player voted. The players know who the best player in the league is. The guys in the media are biased, and it's 100% fact. So, and I'm not saying that in games journalism. I'm just saying it in sports journalism. When you see like, a Leaf writer puts like, Morgan Riley up for the Norris. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is. But with this, Forza not being nominated, I think is almost a slap in the face of We Playground Games, of everything they did. Because at first, when it first came out, everybody was like, well, it's because it was so late to this. And you saw so many people making excuses. And then everybody pointed out, wait a second, it's been nominated in other categories. And what Jez did to put out this article is compelling, and it says a lot about him wanting things to be changed. And I think things do need to be changed.
I agree. I think that change is healthy. Why does it always have to be one way? And why can't you try doing awards shows, be it sports, games, movies? Why does it always have to be one way? As the films, as the content evolves, as the games evolve and change, and players change, and players' way that people play games changes. It's almost, to me, it's almost like the game needs to fit in the structure that we created for these nebulous categories. Like these are made up by people. So, and pundits and reviewers and just people's opinions, because they play a lot of video games.
And it seems they're just going after what's the next Last of Us.
Yeah, and that's very much what the article says, and I appreciate that they're like, hey, they're going for this Hollywood vibe of it. But if that's the case, fine. But again, it's round ball, square peg. Like, you're trying to shove these games into this format. Why don't you just change the format? Because the games are different and there's millions of players for everything. Someone's going to be upset because there's a mobile game that isn't...
6 million players were playing at one time on Forza. 6 million.
Like, it's not nothing. We love Forza, and I just feel like the format should change. I think all games deserve a fair shake. I really think, I don't know about you, but I really think that there should be much more fan voting. Like the article says, like, there's the People's Choice Award for this, but it's not really I don't get a vote. You don't get a vote. Why can't people get a vote? It doesn't speak to the players who are the people playing the games that are making the companies the money, that are making the Game Award shows visible.
Yep.
We watch the show. If nobody watches, then the Game Award show does not exist.
We're all going to watch because they're doing all those trailers that we know are coming.
And that's the problem, though, right? Is that it's almost like they're saying in the article, it's this hybrid now of like, well, it's actually a news drop press event / we do some awards. And that's fine. I got no problem with that at all. I just want games to have a fair shake. And, Playground Games did such an incredible job with this. And again, we could sub out Forza and put in Game X and have the exact same conversation.
If Death's Door is one for me. It should have been Death's Door. It was an amazing, amazing game.
It's not fair to people that are creating these games. However, I would like to know from the developers and all of that, how much stock they themselves put into things like the Game Awards, because you can see from sports, from movies, that some will say, I work forever for the award. It's an honor and all of that stuff. Some don't give a crap because they're like, yeah, it's nice. It's flattering. We appreciate we're being recognized for our work. We appreciate that. But they're not focused on it. They're focused on putting out the best quality art that they can, or play the best game they can. If you're in sports, like, they're trying to do the best job they possibly can in their field. So the awards are nice. They're nice to have. I just kind of like to know from a dev side what they think about things like this. I don't think anybody would be like, this is ridiculous. Why aren't we nominated? I'm sure they're kind of disgruntled of like, really? We have like the hottest game and most players and all this, but because we're pigeonholed as a racing game, we're a video game. Happens to be racing.
Yeah, it's Game Awards. It's not who makes the best cinematic game awards.
Yeah, exactly. You want to have that? Do it. Have cinematic
have
game
category.
awards.
Hey, PlayStation gets its own category because that's what it seems like it. Like, let's be here. Let's be real with this. Let's throw it out there. PlayStation gets its own category.
And I'm glad that games like Ratchet and Clank.
Look at my single player. Like, I love single player games, but this game was the first game ever in the racing category that made me change my mind. But hey, what do you all think about this? Let us know in the comments, because I can guess it's a divided audience, but we'll see.
Let's have a conversation. See ya.